All right, welcome back, baseball fans, to the 69, 70, 71, 72 Carryover League draft prep. We are in the 1970 box again, and now we are in the second division to look at the National League, which is the National League North. And this division is going to make some critical moves here, because we have, well, the Cubs aren't critical, but the Reds are critical, Pittsburgh, and the Cardinals. We know that the Reds and Pirates are battling for top dog in the whole National League during the era. Now in the same division because of my realignment. The Reds are no longer fighting the Dodgers. The Pirates are no longer fighting the Phillies and the Mets and who else. So let's start with the Cubs, though. The Cubs, they lose Jody Davis. Man, the Cubs are in trouble because they lost so many of those good players from that 1984 NLCS team. Jody Davis, Bob Dernier, Greg Gross, Gary Matthews, John Tudor, Scott Sanderson, Greg Harris, and Dave Smith. They're bringing back Randy Hundley, Ernie Banks. They're going to trade Bill Hands and end up with Bert Hooton as a righty-righty. And the Hooton will have more years left. Hands only has 1 year left, so that's going to be a good trade. They've got a great Glenn Becker card, and they have Ron Santo and Frankie Jenkins. Now, with all that said, there's only one guy here. But here is a clue, at least. Milt Pappas is now on the radar, but it's not this year. It's a good year for the Cubs. 12-10 with a 3.35 ERA. But Milt Pappas has an outstanding 1972 year with the Cubs with an ERA with a whip of around 107. So it will be Milt Pappas, but not this year. Though this one, if you couldn't find anybody else in the 70 box, you'd take him. But, you know, Milt Pappas will be a Cub. It's a question of which year. Well, that doesn't give a lot of help to the Cubs, particularly when you have to deal with these next two teams. Let's start with the Reds, who really didn't lose too much. They're going to bring Concepcion back, and we might be looking at the Concepcion they bring back right here. They lose Eric Davis, Tom Foley, Mario Soto, John Butcher, Augusto, Schmidt, and Franco. That's a lot of pitchers, but none of them are really Cy Young material. So they have Tommy Helms, Wayne Granger, Lee May, Tony Perez, Pete Rose, Don Gullett, and Johnny Bench. Now, here's the Concepcion card. I can now put it over here since he's being protected. And this is the rookie Concepcion card. Now, do you want him to hit? Do you want him to field? His defense will improve in the next 2 years, but his stick goes away. So, in a small amount of at-bats, he hit 260. His batting average over the next 2 years is right around the Mendoza line. So what do you want to do if you're the Reds? Do you want to go with the stick and not mind the 348 defense? I don't know. We'll have to see what else is available. And again, if you have two studs here in 1970, then you might have to pass on this Concepcion. Now, this Gary Nolan, he's got a few good years here. He goes in the rotation with a 3.26 ERA, but believe it or not, I think he's got a better year in the future. But we could be done right now. We could say that's it. We're going Concepcion Nolan, but we still have a bunch of guys to look at. And here is the guy, Wayne Simpson, the guy who got hurt and didn't play in the World Series. He was 14-3 with a 3.02 ERA, and this was pretty much the end of his career. He had this 1 year, he got hurt, and it was never the same. And so it could very well be that you need to replace Mario Soto and John Butcher. Worst case, this will be an outstanding number 4 starter. It'll be probably the best number 4 starter in all of baseball. I mean, you could certainly bump him up to a 3 or even a 2 on most teams. So Wayne Simpson's definitely on the radar, along with Concepcion and Nolan. So the Reds are, again, in great shape. Now, you have Jim Merritt. And he had kind of struggled with the 69 card. The 70 card, he actually wins 20 games. This 20 wins has to do with Johnny Bench and Tony Perez and Lee May and Pete Rose and so forth. His ERA is 4.08. Gave up more hits than innings pitched, and his walk-strikeout ratio isn't that great. He is only an okay starting pitcher, and again, the splits don't support it either. He doesn't face that many lefties, 17%. So buyer beware. I mean, that 20 wins is a little deceiving here. Clay Carroll, again, another great option for the Reds, but Carroll will be good this entire time in 70, 71, and 72. He's very consistent. His ERA will be around 260 every year in this era. So basically, once you zone in on the players you want, and you leave space for Clay Carroll and take him at the end of the draft, because that way you can take him in any of the years. It doesn't really matter too much. They're still calling him John, but Jack Billingham, his second year now, he's better than he was in 70, but he's still got a 3.97 ERA. So I'm still a little. I like this pitching, and don't get me wrong, all these guys are World Series pitchers. It's been proven, and but I'm just not sure who they're still flat. It's all very liquid for the Reds. They've got a lot of choices. Once we look at the 71 and 72 boxes, only then can we decide on who we're going to take from this box. But for a World Series team to have all these options, that's an embarrassment of riches, really. The Reds have got to be the favorite to go back and probably have the edge over the Mets at this point, as far as the teams we've looked at. Until these guys. I don't know. I got to see these guys now and readjust that. The Pirates. My goodness. The Pirates lost some really good. They lost better 84 guys than the Reds lost. They lost Lee Lacy, Johnny Ray, Amanda Walkenfuss, Larry McWilliams, Rick Rhoden, and John Candelaria, Warren Brewster, and Gary Lucas. They have Richie Hebner, Matty Alou, Clemente, Al Oliver, Roberto Pena, and Willie Stargell, and Steve Blass. Their farm system is, though, not currently as deep as the Reds. We really like the 69 Bob Moose card, so the question is this one better? And the answer is, well, he still doesn't rotate, and I think his ERA is worse. So he may actually be better in 69. And we also like Bob Veal in 69. Is he better or worse? When we take a look at him, he's got a 3.92 ERA on the rotation. So, I'm scratching my head here. I know Moose and Veal factor into the equation for Pittsburgh, but I'm not sure how to align the years yet. I'd wait until I saw all 4 years in the Carryover League before I start throwing the switches on who I'm taking. All right, Bill Mazeroski. Johnny Ray's your second baseman. You also have Gene Alley. Bill Mazeroski, he's really late in his career. His 69 card also has good defense, as does this one. In 367 at-bats, he had 229. He's got, even though he doesn't hit righties well, he's got power against him. You might, we'll have to see on Mazeroski whether they really want to go that, if you put Gene Alley and Bill Mazeroski in the same lineup, suddenly that lineup doesn't look that good anymore. Okay, and last team in this division, the Cardinals. The disappointing 84 Cardinals, the switch hitting Wally Backman and Willie McGee and Ozzie Smith, Keith Hernandez, and their entire bullpen is gone. So we definitely need relief pitchers. We have Simmons, we have Brock, we have Bob Gibson, Ken Oldsman, and Chuck Taylor. The farm system, however, is very weak. We see two guys here. Now, Sal Campisi obviously walks too many batters, but doesn't give up homers, and he pitched to a 2.94 ERA, so you may pick this guy as a long man, even though there's a ton of walks. Frank Johnson, interesting player. Power versus righties, hits righties slightly better than lefties. Can play the outfield and first base. Again, guys like this aren't going to get you past the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Unfortunately for the Reds. Unfortunately for the Cardinals. It's just not going to happen. And this looks like a two-team division. And both teams aren't committing to the players they've seen thus far until they see the 71 and 72 cards. So that's it from the National League North. Thank you for checking out the videos. We'll see you next time.